All right, howdy, folks. Had a little bit of a hiccup there. I lost my camera as everything went black. I had to figure out what was going on. Looked like my USB cable came unplugged a little bit. Well, anyway, it's Woodturning Wednesday. Thanks for coming back. If you've watched before, and if you're a new viewer, welcome. My name is Dave. I'm a wood turner. I started this channel so that I could become a better wood turner and a better teacher and a better demonstrator, but also to help people like you become better turners too. So today, I've still got, I started off with some cherry last night that I got from a friend of mine, TC Schmo, and I turned a couple bowls, and I'm a little short on bowls, I guess, if that's a thing. But anyway, I wanted to turn this cherry before it got too bad and too cracked. So it's kind of green still a little bit, but it's still solid enough to turn. So it is kind of seasoned out a little bit, but it actually was pretty nice to turn yesterday, so I expect that this will remain the same. Okay, let's turn this camera down. Did I go too far? Not quite far enough. All right. So these pieces of cherry were beetle eaten. All the cambium layer was taken out underneath the bark. I had to peel the bark off. Everything that was underneath here was still wet. So all the beetle dust and stuff that was in all these grooves, all the little galleries that they made, normally if it is a piece of drier wood, more seasoned wood, and the bug dust, beetle dust, whatever is dry, also I will wear a face mask. With this though, it was still wet, so what I did was I took a wire brush and got rid of all that stuff. It was just a lot of wet beetle leavings. So I don't have to wear a face mask for this. Now I will though when I start sanding. I do wear a mask when I'm sanding. I don't want to breathe that stuff in. The body can build up a toxicity to tree species, depending on how it works within your own body. So I don't want to build a toxicity to, say, cherry or any other wood that's out there, because I want to be able to turn it. And I want to be able to turn as long as I can. I don't... protect your lungs, protect your face, protect your lungs, protect your hands by not wearing gloves, or at least fingerless gloves. I try never to wear gloves at all. It's been quite a long time. Early on when I was learning to turn, and I would get, and sometimes even with white oak, I'll still wear a glove because it splinters off and comes off, and it gets embedded in whichever hand it is, so I'll wear a glove on that hand while I'm turning the billet to shape. But everything I want to keep, I keep on the back side of the tool rest, and so far I've got them all. So I'm going to set this thing up on its balance point. This line, can you see that? Oh yeah, you can see that really nice. That is where the pith is. I didn't quite get through the pith with the chainsaw. I pretty much got it right on this side, so I suspect, oh yeah, I can see the claw marks, so I chainsawed from this side and tried to follow a line on the other side. But anyway, so I'm gonna have to make a little adjustment to get rid of that pith. But the first thing I want to do, I've looked at this piece of wood. I want to make sure it's even safe to turn. So I've got a crack here, maybe a split, but I am going to turn this around with a rim, so that will go away. Not really concerned about that. I am concerned about this though. So this is a crack that goes all the way up through, and I need to turn this around. I'm hoping that all disappears. But even if it doesn't, hopefully it will not be deep enough to get to the rim part of the bowl that I want to turn. So I'm going to go ahead and go with this. This is still a pretty solid piece of wood, but you want to inspect, the pieces that you're turning and make sure that they're safe to turn. They're as safe as you're willing to turn them, I guess. But hey man, go for safety. So let's get it on its balance points. Too heavy there at the bottom. Still too heavy. I might be able to just jimmy it up a little bit right there. Did that do it? Nope. All right. So I want to, let's see. I want to see where that line comes across for the pith on this side and compare it to that one. Looks like they kind of meet, so that might be okay. So let's tilt this side up a little bit more. And the reason I'm doing it and not going back and forth is because I'm trying to keep this face as straight as possible because of these cracks. But I may have to okay, nope, that's it. That's the balance point right there. So let's make sure that it's secure on the lathe. That'll work. Okay, now I really, now that it's secure, I just want to check this line. I may have to, I'm going to have to adjust the piece, but I want to make it round first to see if I can get rid of that and that. There's going to be some beetle holes in here, here and there, and that's going to add, I think, to the character of the piece. So I'm going to turn this around. I'm going to use a bowl gouge, and there's a couple of ways to skin this cat. I could make a series of step cuts into it and do it that way, which is honestly the easiest way, or the easiest way for new turners to learn to get rid of mass. Is you just make a stair-step cuts, and you can vary the width of the cut and the depth of the cut. So you make a stair-step, and then when you turn all those corners off, and you can even see and make the steps, the corners of the steps go in a curved, in a radius, right? So then when you take all the corners off, you've already got a rounded shape. What I'm going to do today, though, is I do the things a couple of different ways. It just depends on the piece of wood. And today I'm going to go ahead and set my bowl gouge up, but I'm going to set it up in such a way that while I'm cutting on the bottom wing, I've got it tilted up into a configuration where I can get a peeling cut coming around. And that looks like this. Just got it. It's almost like a push cut, but it really is a peeling cut because of the way the flute is turned and the way that the cutting edge is set. So I can see I'm starting to lose a lot of that one crack, and looks like the other one's already gone. So I may not have any more issues as far as cracks. Doing a series of step cuts instead. Looks looks like this. And I can vary the depth and the height of those, and then when I come to clean the corners off, I can follow that shape. Okay, let's see what we got here. Getting there, almost round. What this peeling cut does when I'm working with a sharp tool anyway, is it allows me to get a cleaner cut when I'm hogging stuff up. You could use any other tool you want, spindle roughing gouge, I mean you can use whatever you want. I try to be a minimalist at the lathe. I only want to have a limited amount of tools that I got to reach for. So I tend to explore a lot what these tools can do, and you can see I've got very little tear out right here at the very end, the outside of the tree. I got a little bit, but with that peeling cut, there's no tear out with a sharp tool. I'm not really defining the bowl, the bottom of the bowl yet, the foot of the bowl. I'm just giving myself an idea of where I need to take this down so I can hold it in a chuck. So I'm going to make this, well, yeah, no, wait. I think that's probably where I'm going to stop. I'm going to have to make an adjustment between the pith here and the pith here, which is right at the top there. So I'll have to make a slight adjustment so that I get a flat, or a, you know, everything runs in the same direction. So I think I'm going to keep this natural edge here on the outside part of the rim. I think that'll look pretty cool. Here you can see this dark brown, that there is beetle dust. It's the beetle leavings, it's still wet. So I'm not really worried about it flying out of the timber while I'm turning it. I don't want it, you know, floating around in the air. And if I had a piece of timber that was drier or had a lot of dust that was dry, I would wear a face mask. A filter mask, sorry. Okay, that should be plenty big enough there. So let's so now I can start. Well, I can't start on my rim yet. I want to make this a nice curve all the way around. Because I'm actually going to wind up taking most of this down. Okay, so that's a pretty decent curve. Let's mark this again. Double check this guy. You know, I think I'd take it down to the one that looks like the second ring right there. So I'll take it to the second ring right there. So that means I'm off by that much. Let's take this down. I'm also not really worried about getting the X or the I, the letter I or H or whatever you want to call it, down the center of the bowl, because the pith itself is off center. So, and I want to be able to use the whole piece. I could get that right in the center, but I would lose about that much on this side, and it wouldn't have, I mean, it might look cool, but that's not what I'm after anyway. Okay, let's try this guy. So that hits that there, so I gotta go up a little bit more. Maybe that. Really close. Let's take this. Let's take it. No, let's leave it where it's at. I'm going to shift it just a tad bit to the left. Check this again. The second ring. Which then should hit right there. Yes. Okay, so I'm hitting right there. That's good. I am going to make it round again. No, I'm not. I'm going to, what am I going to do? Yes, I'm going to have to make it round again, so I may not have any natural edge on this, and that's okay. I needed to get a clear picture where the pith was at in the piece. This peeling cut is a fairly smooth, nice cut. It can leave you a pretty nice surface just to start with. Alright, so now that that is my new center, I now have to work out bottom of the bowl, or at least where I'm going to grab it by the chuck. I will grab my spindle gouge here and go ahead and set it up for a chuck hold. I have dovetail jaws on the chuck that I'm going to use, so that should be plenty of material. I've got solid wood all the way around, and I'm into the billet of wood pretty far, so I don't have like soft wood here. I'm not concerned about it getting compressed. Okay, so now that that is centered, I can take it down to, let's put a little bit of a rim on this guy. I think, I know, I did just set that down. I should be keeping these in my pocket. So that hits right at the right spot. So I think I'll have a rim About that, you know, let's see about making it about that thick. So I can go at it from this side. I want to cut the timber as much as possible downhill to the fibers so that the fibers that are underneath my cut are supporting my cut. If I went uphill to the fibers, in this case, if I went from here to here, I'm cutting away my support as I go, so this can all get torn out and splinter out. So I want to go this way. And the act of closing the flute on the gouge means I can get a lot closer without contacting the bottom wing or the top wing to, well, I am contacting the bottom wing, but more up towards the nose of the tool, but it lets me get a lot closer to get more of a square shoulder. Not that I'm getting a super square one right now, but we'll fix that. But it gets me more square than just stopping, say, there. Turning green wood is nice. Like I said, this isn't completely green, but it's still got some, definitely still has some water in it. It's not quite the shape I'm looking for, so let's see. I think I'll make the bowl a little bit smaller. I think that's a nice rim right there. I really want to be cutting the other way towards me with this cut, but I can't do it and get the tool right into the corner. So I may have a tiny bit of sanding that I'll have to do on the underside of the rim. Unless I can get a tool in there to do a little bit of scraping. Let's see, let's take this down some more. So what you heard there was a catch. The tool contacted the timber before it was against the tool rest at its anchor point. Sounds like this. That's a catch. You always want to make sure your tools are supported before you contact the material that you're turning on the lathe. Alright, I think I'm going to have to, I'm going to have to grab a skew really quick. I want to get right in that corner. Let's grab the straight skew. So I have a radius skew and a straight skew. This is my straight one. So that should take care of that surface really nicely. Now let's get this corner. Some really fine shavings off of that. Okay, I'm going to adjust the shape of the bowl some more. It's not quite where I want it. I can actually make this smaller as well. Closer. Okay, I'll take that down a little bit more. Gouge is very versatile. That's really close to the shape that I want. I will finish off that part of the foot when I have the bowl reversed. So let's set up for a chuck hold. Then I can get this thing turned around and I can get my rim cut, or get the rim cut down to that second ring there. And hollow the bowl out. While I've got it on this side though, I'm going to throw my face mask on after I take a drink of water here. It was a very hot day. Jaybird Customs, hello, glad to see other woodworkers on here. Yes, hi, how are you, man? Thanks for stopping by. All right, so face mask first. So you probably won't be able to hear me really well. Sharp edge. Need a piece of 220 here. There we are. Whoops. Time to clean out the shavings out of the shop. So I'm not putting a lot of pressure against the timber with the abrasive. For one, it's still green, so you can see it's loading up the paper just a little bit. But you don't really need a death grip on this stuff. The more you watch, you will see, the more you hang out with me and all that, you will see that I lose the sandpaper. I lose the abrasive sometimes because I don't have the super tight grip on it, and so the wood will take it away, but I don't want to have a super tight grip on it because of that. I don't want to get pulled in. I don't mind walking to the other side of the lathe and getting that piece of abrasive again. And sorry about the noise of the lathe. It doesn't like to go at its slowest speed. That should be alright. Hold on, let's see. Okay. I can lose the mask and I think you'll be able to understand me better. So, Jaybird Customs, where are you located at, man? I'm in Michigan myself. Traverse City. Let's see. So we'll have a couple of beetle holes. There's one right there. Well, that'll just show on the outside. That will go through the bowl, which is okay. That is a beetle track. You see it's still wet. It's not all crumbly and dusty. Which is alright by me. I mean, I'll wear the mask if I have to the whole time, but if I don't have to, so much the better. So I wonder where that will go through the rim. This particular one. We'll see if it either shows up on the inside of the bowl or somewhere at the top of the rim there. Well, I will get to keep some natural edge, just a little bit. That side too, cool. So not a lot, but that's all right. Okay, so I'm gonna say I am ready to flip this dude around. Let's get rid of the elbow poker guy. So I don't believe, well, I might use the skew again, who knows. Little tips I learned from Stuart Batty on the, if you use your skew as a negative rake scraper, make sure you pull a burr up on one side or the other, whatever it is. That burr will really clean things up nicely. All right, on to the Vic Mark chuck. I like this chuck. I don't get paid to say that yet, hopefully someday, but I do like this chuck. Good solid chuck. Alright, so as you can see, I don't have the foot of the piece or where I'm gripping it with the chuck all the way down into the chuck and bottomed out. You never want to do that. You don't want to bottom the piece out if you can avoid it, unless you're starting from something rough or whatever, because the where you're centering things up is actually on the face of the jaws here. So you really need a square shoulder to sit on the face of the jaws, and I have dovetail jaws, so this is kind of dovetailed in. And because I'm using sharp tools and I've done the practice and I know what my limits are, I've got about 1/8 of an inch here that I'm holding on to, but that's really all I need. First, make sure that I'm at the right height here. Too low. I do believe. I think that'll work. And I'm going to take my rim down. And as I said, it was going to be the second ring, so 1, 2. Oh, I still got most of the line there, so there we are. Just give myself a little visual representation. I'm down at 400 RPM. Let's turn it up. Alright, so I also have to think about where this is coming through my rim and what I want to do with that. Do I want to have like a raised lip on the bowl and a rim that goes into that? Or do I want to just have the rim go all the way, go straight into the bowl? There's a lot of things, everybody's got a different idea of what looks really cool. I think I'm going to make... I think I will not put a raised bead for the rim of this guy. at the moment I really only need to go past the rim of the bowl. I don't have to take this all the way off yet because of the way that I'm going to hollow scoop the bowl out. I just need to get past what would be the inner surface of the bowl. I can see I've got a little bit of an issue there. I don't know if that is actually a split, but it looks like it. That's a bark inclusion. There's another one. So hopefully that doesn't do anything to the bowl, because the bowl's still going to have to dry a little bit before it's completely finished. I'm still kind of turning a green bowl here. Let's see. I think I want a little bit thinner rim. And I think I want it to angle down a bit into the bowl. I think that's a good rim. I've got down to the second ring here. And I am past that pith bit. So I do have a little bit of natural edge on both sides, but not a lot on this side. I got some beetle tracks. That's kind of neat. It's kind of just plain cherry, but I wanted to turn it because of the beetle tracks and because you can practice embellishments and stuff on it. You know, maybe I'll set it on fire and ebonize it, who knows. I think I like that angle. Let's see. I think I'll take it down a little bit more at an angle. Yeah, I like that. Groovy. Hopefully I didn't lose you there, Jaybird. I was wondering where you're based out of. Okay, so I'm going to chamfer this edge. And then I need to figure out, okay, I'm going to get rid of the mass that I don't need. This back a little bit more so I got room to swing the handle. now I'm working to where my wall thickness would be. I want it to be the same as what the rim is. So I got to kind of sight down here. Point my bevel in the right direction. Need to go a little bit thinner. So I'm really eyeballing this, and that's something that comes definitely with practice. A little bit thinner. In fact, let's get rid of this stuff. I don't know, maybe it might help if I do that. Hopefully that doesn't wash it out too badly. Doesn't look like it's too terrible. And I'll try not to give you a back of the head cam. It's even. Just needs to be a little bit thinner. I can see the beetle holes are going right through to the gallery on the inside there. That's kind of neat. There we go. That'll work. So now I want to round that edge off. Alright, let's check the depth here. Alright. So I need to pick up this. I don't think I'm quite deep enough. I'm almost at my finished depth. As you just said. And go just a little bit deeper. But I need to pick up where the curve goes around on the inside and take it all the way through. Oh, I can go a little deeper than that. All right. That's pretty good. Could be better. Let's check our depth again. Oh yeah, I'm doing fine. Go, and now I'm going to take my negative rag scraper and just clean up that little bead that's in the bottom. So I want to have less than a 90-degree angle from the cutting edge, or the burr in this case, to the timber itself, and that's probably a little too high. So that I stay out of catch territory, which means I want my handle to come up a little bit. So I raise the tool rest a little bit. That's pretty good. All right, groovy. Give it one more pass. Let's take a really light cut. That did it. All right, cool. Now I can clean out the beetle leaving. So this one actually came right through the rim here. Go back to the overhead. So that's kind of a neat little feature. There's a gallery that needs to be cleaned out. Well, there's a couple. So I am going to run a little bit of a abrasive in there at a slower speed. So what's this? It's 1920. Yes. Hey, it came back to me. And 220. Oh, come on now. And you know, I really should be wearing my mask. Dang it. Just going along without a thought. That's just silliness. Enjoying the process and forgetting, hey man, we need to have a face mask on. Or a filter mask, sorry. Then from here, you know what I think what I will do is go ahead and put on some buffing balm. Doing some light sanding with the grain to get rid of any tool marks from the abrasive. That should do. Now, let's watch this color pop. Oh, I don't need the mask now. Yay! Alright, let's watch this color pop, man, I hope. Should do really nicely. So this is my own blend. I'm also a beekeeper. This is beeswax, walnut oil, orange oil, and food grade diatomaceous earth for a little grit, and some 600 grit pumice. So everything in it is food safe before I even put it on. Not that you would want to eat pumice, but it's not poisonous. Ooh, it gets warm. Oh yeah, that looks nice. We'll get it off the lathe here in a second. That looks pretty nice. I like the color that brought out. Let's do the outside. At least a little of it anyway. There's some I'm going to have to fade that foot in a little bit more. So I won't go that far with the polish. Woo, man, that gets really warm. So it really brings color out. That's nice. Very cool. All right, set that aside. Let's start working on these galleries here. Get all this stuff out of here. So far, I have not found a live larva in any of these pieces. So that's a promising sign. Okay, I think those are all cleaned out. Let's get this one. Clean, that one's clean, that one's clean. That's on the surface. Yeah, it does bring the color out very nicely. Alright, so time to flip this guy around. I'm going to use a friction drive. I got a piece of wood right here. This is a spare glue block that I have, and I keep it set aside so there it is. that I can use it for things like this. On a glue block, when you're reversing the bowl, you use the same glue block to reverse the bowl and turn it into a friction drive. And since I have not actually used a glue block on this guy, I can just attach to the chuck. Which means I'll need to bring the elbow poker guide back. And I can put the skew away. I don't need that anymore. Oh yeah, I guess I can get rid of my spindle gouge also, since it is not being used for anything on this. Alright, so I have a piece of shelf liner, or it's not honeycomb, but it's like shelf liner rubbery stuff, and a piece of leather. And that's my friction drive. So I'm going to set this up, the bowl on there. I'm going to center things up, and then I'm going to set it where it's running as true as I can get it. And I only want enough pressure. I don't think that's right. No, that could be it. Against the friction drive that I can't move the object, in this case a bowl. See, I can move it now, so I'm going to need more pressure, but just enough to keep it firm against the leather and that little pseudo rubber, whatever that stuff is. Because I just want the friction of it to hold together. This is still kind of green wood. I don't want to push any indentations to the inside of the bowl by cranking this down. Let's see how close we got. Not very at all. So it must be this one. Really close. I need it running fairly true because I'm going to take this foot down. I need to finish this curve, so I'm going to pick up on the curve with the tool, and I don't want to have a line where I've got to blend in with sanding or whatever. So this can be a little bit fiddly, but I'm also kind of picky about it, so, and I know I'm not the only one on the planet. See how that looks? That's running pretty true. Just a little bit of a spot right there. There we are. So I want to make sure I don't have, okay, I can't move it, but it's not too much pressure. So let's clean this guy off. Let's see, how kind of foot do I want here? I will take it down. I think that will be close. Ooh, just about nailed it right off the first time. Very cool. Clean that up just a bit. Yeah, that got it. Man, I love it when that happens. That is so awesome. But it's a result of lots and lots of practice. You can get here too. Man, I love it when that happens. Okay, bringing back the spindle gouge. I'll put a little detail in the bottom of the bowl and knock this guy down some. Good image, but hopefully this kind of washes it out. I can turn this off now, since I'm not hollowing that. See about unscrewing that LED bulb. Does that help? A little bit. Alright. So you'll see I'm raising my hand. I'm not rotating the tool. I'm working from an uncomfortable position to a comfortable position. I'm working with my own body's ergonomics. So I start my cut, I actually need to know where my end cut is at. My end cut is actually going to be right there. So I always set my thumb on the top for my end cut. That is very, very comfortable right there. Now I have to drop the handle and rotate the tool a little bit to get my starting cut point, which is right here. I'm going to push with this hand and then just raise my hand straight up. It's not going to rotate or anything like that. I'm going to relax my hand and allow it to move on its own to a neutral position, which was this comfortable position. So there's no rotating of the tool at all. It does it on its own as my hand comes up, straight up my side. And that is the most efficient way I've found to use this tool to get an absolutely clean cut. So let's see, let's put a little bit of detail in there that's about the thickness of the bowl. I'm going to double check my surface down here and make sure it's a little concave, because I just want it to sit on the outside rim. I don't want the flat bottom to sit down, because as this dries it's going to change shape. And if I leave myself that outer rim, then any minor adjustments that I have to make to the foot of the bowl will be even all the way across. Alright, time for the face mask. Keep calling it a face mask. Time for the filter. Okay, just slow it down. Sorry about the noise of the lathe. It doesn't like to move so slow. I don't need that guy back. Just a light touch with the abrasive. It doesn't have to be heavy-handed. Probably better that you're not heavy-handed with it. pretty cool. All right, let's finish off the bottom with some more buffing balm. The other nice thing about this is it does not take much. A little bit of this goes a very long way. And I'm down to 400, I think, RPM, yep. Start slow, let the finer grits do the work. Then friction polish it in so the beeswax centers the pores and helps seal the wood. Oh, that sure gets warm. So now all I have is this little bitty nub that I have to get rid of later. Oh, sorry. All I have now is this little bitty nub to get rid of. And not booger up the rest of the bowl. There we go. Alright, so my compressor is off, but it's got enough air that I can do this with the Grex sanding tool. Whoops, not that guy. Yep. That should be in the trash anyway. That's no good abrasive. And 220. Come on. Whoops. Thought I had the air hose connected properly. I did not. There we go. And now, let's see, I got to move this saw out of the way so I don't booger up the teeth on it. Get the sawdust out of this groove. Oh, nope, don't want to do it that way. Let's see, let's grab the death towel. The death towel. Oh, that's kind of cool there, man. I wasn't even trying. Well, I mean, I sort of was trying for that. So that's the X or the I or the H or however you want to call it. Let's go back to the overhead so I can see what I'm showing you. Right there in the bottom of the bowl, that's the center of the tree, the pith. And I got really close. I knew there was, well, I wasn't really trying that hard because the pith was off center, but it still worked out. Still worked out okay, just getting that right little rotation into it. So that's cool. That's a nice surprise. But I understand from lots of turners I've talked to, that's like the holy grail of turning or whatever. Your bowl has this perfect X or H in it. And I mean, it looks cool, but that's not like the end-all be-all to me anyway. But everybody has their visions of what they want their turnings to look like. Or if you don't have one yet, you will get there. You will develop one. Shapes you prefer over others. Sometimes even tools you prefer over others. Wood you prefer to turn, maybe. There's a lot to explore with wood turning. And there's plenty of room for everybody as far as I'm concerned. Okay, so that's a lucky, cool deal that I got it almost centered, even with the pith being off center in the billet as it was. You can see it's like not, it's kind of egg shaped, so it's not exact because it would be like straight lines all the way across, except for, well, maybe even that center would just be straight lines straight across too. So it's not quite there. But again, that's not what I was after specifically. That's just a nice color, even though it's just, regular old cherry, I guess. Cherry is just a very, very pretty wood, and it's got bark inclusions in it. I'm wondering if it's got, it doesn't have any spalting in it, but it's got some nice bark inclusions in it and some beetle tracks, and I think that is a very attractive small bowl. So you will see this bowl in my online store of objects turned on Twitch. Let me type in the web address. If you'd like to check it out while you're here, or at least get an idea of where the address is in the first place. Again, my name is Dave. This is Wood Turns to Art. All right, moving on to the next one. We got this guy. Is it this guy? Yeah, I was doing a similar thing here because, as you can see, the pith is not centered. I could probably get it centered by moving the tree this way to get this much of the edge, but then I'll lose that, and I really don't want to. Well, I guess it would change it like this. So it would be a much shallower bowl, which is okay. That's not a bad thing. And that guy was brushed off, so I can go for it there. This guy here. And we're going back to the balance point. I think this one, if this is my thickest piece. Yep. All right, so this guy, I'm going to make a natural edge bowl out of it. So let's do that. We will, as always, start off on the balance point if I can get there. And I'll just take turns going back and forth between the points, raise it up maybe about 1/8 of an inch on this side, set the point, see where it goes to. So that was just a little bit too much, but I can compensate on this side by lifting it up maybe 1/16 of an inch. Let's see how that does. It can be sometimes kind of difficult too with green wood, especially if there's water pockets in it. That would be the balance point. It's not wanting to go anywhere. So cool. Means I can kick the lathe speed up. Just make sure we have a secure hold. There we go. And we'll start making it round. Do it on time. Not bad. Alright, cool. Hit the tool rest there. Got to make sure everything clears the tool rest before I turn this beast on. I'm at 800, but I go higher. I don't guess I really need to. So I'm going to go back with the peeling cut. Transition into a push cut. Get a little bit closer. It's not quite tight. There we go. Everything clears. I think this is nice because I can hog off a lot with a peeling cut and really get down to a shape quickly. Getting some tear out there, but we will resolve that. Oh, it looks like I got bark inclusions too right in the end. My pith looks okay though. Oh man, this is one way. Yeah, this is one way where I can. I think. Let's see. Let's finish making it round. Well, this is no longer natural edge bowl. How's that grab you? Okay. But I can keep some natural edge. I'm going to shift this just a bit and see if I get okay. Should be further away, and that should be closer. So I guess I'm going to have to shift the entire thing this way. About that much. Whoops, lost it. Well, all that's going to go to. That's all right. So a lot of good wood in there. It's very cool. Okay, shapey shape. Yeah, I can see that there's really wild bark inclusion. I'm going to get some CA glue and hit that with some CA glue so it solidifies. Make it a little bit plastic. Give that just a little bit to set up. Okay, I'm liking the shape of the bowl a lot right now. I'm really going to try to keep this outer edge as much as I can. Yeah, I like that shape. Alright, I've got to get rid of a little bit of a hump happening there. Is that a guy? I wonder. Oh no, that's just wood being pulled over. That's not a larva. So the beetles have vacated, which is good news. All right, a little bit more. Nope, I have to take it down just a wee bit more. I need, well, no, that should be enough for a foot there. Let's see. Follow that line. Oh, yeah, that should be enough. I'm not really doing a pull cut. It's more of a come on, Dave, the word, peeling cut. And now I'm doing a pull cut. Where does that show up here? I think I'll take it down a little bit more. Alrighty then. So that's going to be my hold, and then I'm going to blend that back out when I reverse it. So this will be right, hold it in the chuck, and then it will be a nice little foot there. So let's adjust this a little bit. Groovy, ready to sand. It is very, very, very close to the shape I want. It's almost exactly the shape I want. Alright, so at this point, I'm actually going to need my compressor. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mute my voice for a little bit. You'll still, even though it doesn't appear to be playing right at the moment, we'll be able to listen to the tunes. In fact, let's see what's happening there. It is not responding. I hate it when that happens. Well, let's close the chat window for a second here. That's really wild. I'm getting absolutely no response. Oh, let's try it. Alright, so apparently the tunes are not going to work. I'm having issues with my internet, apparently. Hopefully they will kick back on again. It is Slipstream. I use Slipstream for copyright-free music, so I'm not like taking anything, violating any kind of copyrights or rules or whatever. So I'm going to still go ahead and mute, so you don't have to listen to the compressor. That's 220. Give me 150. And I will be back when it is finished. Shouldn't take long. Oh, and I need a mask. A breathing filter. Hello. Alright, so go and mute now. I'll be back shortly. Let me get my chat back up there. Do I not have internet? What in the world is going on? Surely I'm still... Okay, there's the chat. Boy, it is really trucking slow. This reminds me of dial-up. Holy smokes, man. And I've got Charter. Yeah, supposedly the best internet ever, right? It's not great. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Alright, so hopefully chat will populate shortly. I'm going to go mute so that you are not listening to the compressor. It is very loud. Hopefully we can get tunes. Okay, my internet is just in really bad shape, so anyway, got the music at least working. I'll be back soon with audio. All right, so that bit's done. Turn off the compressor really quick. Whoo, man, it has been a warm day. All right. I'll go ahead and put finish on the outside of this guy. Come on. That's too much, Dave. Way too much. Like I say, a little bit of this goes a very long way. Well, okay, so it was closer to almost exactly the right amount. Ha ha ha. Close that off so we don't get any dust in there while I'm doing this. Okay. Yeah, that's some nice color. Oh, look how it brought the bark inclusions out. That's really groovy. All right, let's clean off these beetle holes. Oh, yeah, use the dusty one, Dave. Ha ha! All right. So that one's going to come through to the inside bottom of the bowl. There's a little beeswax. And as soon as I get done with this, I can... Oh, bummer. Well, I guess I'll have to take the rim down a little bit. Well, maybe not. I don't know. I've got just the tiniest little bridge right on the rim. I'm not sure that I want that there. But I also have to keep in mind I've got this hole right here. So I can't take it down too far, the rim. I can't go that in too far. That's cleaned out. But I do have, oh wow, okay. That I didn't see. I'll show you this here in a second. There's a really large gallery here. Oh, missed one. Come on out of there, come on. All right, that should have all of it. So now we're going to switch over to a chuck, and oh, but here's that gallery I was talking about, and it goes kind of deep. So I think if I just take the rim down a little bit to get rid of this little tiny bridge, there's not hardly anything to it. So I don't want to leave it on the bowl and then have sharp edges there when it eventually snaps, because it will, because it's such a small piece of wood. So if I take that down a little bit, I'll still have that indentation where that gallery goes, or used to go, and then I'll have this gallery, but it won't be as deep. I'll still have it show up on the rim, so that works for me. I want to keep all the features, man. All the features I can keep. Move the elbow poker. It is a live center, but if you're not careful, it's an elbow poker, so I just call it that. And it hurts. I think I heard one wood turner say that's how you tell if somebody's really a wood turner, is they got scars all right here on their elbow from nailing that thing. Now, I don't have any, I don't think, but it's probably because I'm lucky. I mean, I have hit that thing. It will draw blood if you hit it hard enough because the points are in it, or it's got a point in it. Okay, oh, look at that. I lined it up just accidentally, so let's just shift it a little bit. There we go. So this is not quite 3/16 of an inch of hold. It's a fat eighth for sure. But again, I don't need a lot. I want what is most important is that the piece sits square right on the face of the jaws there, and the jaws can get a good grip. These are dovetailed jaws, so I've dovetailed the landing spot where the chuck jaws are going to go in, and I've got it good and tight, so I'm not really concerned about it. Besides that, it's a really solidly built chuck. These Vicmark chucks are amazing. I think Vicmark is made in Australia, I believe. I don't get paid to say these things. This is just the tools that I use. Unless Vicmark catches this and say, hey, we'd like to sponsor that channel so he can talk about our chucks, all of our equipment. That'd be cool. I'm open to that. But for right now, it's just these are the tools that I use. Okay, I'm not going to need the spindle gouge. I think I will change to, well, I'll change to a new bull gouge here in a minute. That seems awful slow. So this I could have done one of two ways. I could either have just taken the rim down a little bit, say in half an inch, but since I'm going to make it a bowl, I figured I'll just get rid of the mask that I don't need to within about half an inch of that, and then I can do it. Either way, it doesn't matter. I know this has got to be done. I just happen to be in the right position to do it. All right. Now let's take a look at that bad boy and see what we see. All right, so I can take a little abrasive to that point. In fact, let's round it over. There we go, not a sharp point. And I have over here, the sharp point might be on the inside of the bowl, but that's all right. So I've got that natural bit and this natural bit. We'll see how it looks when we get it into a complete bowl. Let's see, I was going to change this spindle guide. It still feels pretty sharp, but I'm going to swap it up. So I would normally take this bowl up in stages. You see my tool rest is too high. That's a little too low. There we go. But because it's the curve that it's got and the practice that I put in, I think I'm just going to turn it all at once. I guess that's not the right way to put it. One way to skin this cat is to take some calipers and measure as you go, and do it in stages, a little, half an inch or maybe 3/4 of an inch, then do the same thing all the way down, which I had been known to do. But this particular shape I can eyeball. Yep. Now I'm too low. Thought that might be the case. Now I'm really only doing this because the wood is as solid as it is. It's a piece of cherry and it's really, really close grain. So it's going to hold it. It's going to want to hold itself together better than, say, like an open grain wide ring configuration in some other tree. And in that case, I wouldn't do it all in. I wouldn't just hollow it out and do it in one swoop because I would be too afraid of the thing flexing, and not only that, afraid of it just kind of trying to come apart. First thing I'm doing is matching the outside curve on the inside. And that guy, put this on. That. There we go. So I want an even wall thickness all the way through. I don't have it yet, but I want to start my bowl that way so that as I make my cuts I can gauge my depth a lot easier. by keeping the depth of the cut the same all the way through. That's good. I can go a little deeper there. I'm putting barely any pressure against the tool. It's only moving, it's moving itself, it's kind of self-feeding, and it's going as fast as it can cut, and that's what I want. I don't want to try to force the tool to go faster than it can cut. Makes it a much smoother experience for everybody involved, including the timber and your tools. I'm very close to having it even. Hopefully I'm not giving you a back of the shoulder cam. You get to see what I don't. I'm watching the ghost over down here. I can't see what the tool is actually doing till now. I can see it on this side though as I look down. Oh man, it's so close. Okay. Whoops. You're dropping my paper towels, man. And I can move this guy in some. Why not? Everything clears. That'll do right there. All right. Okay, so now I need to figure out, oh my, that might be a problem. Well, maybe not. This bit looks like it might possibly pop out. So, I'm going to hit that with some CA glue right now. And we will let it sit for about a minute and a half. Something like that. Because that's exactly what I wanted to avoid. So it was kind of rotten right there. That wasn't the pith, it was a bark inclusion that kind of went rotten. But it follows along the line of the grain, and so that could pop out. And I'd rather it didn't. So hopefully I can soak some CA glue in there. Slowly seeping in. I think that's probably enough there. Well, that's soaked in right away. Okay. Wipe that off. So I flooded it with CA glue and until it didn't really look like it was soaking in anymore, and I could see that it ran off the outside. So I'll have to polish a little because it did take off a little bit of the beeswax right there. But I can buff that right back in, not a problem. So we'll let this sit for about a minute and a half, I think, just to make sure that, because CA glue, the way it works is that it sets up in the absence of oxygen. So I'm hoping to have made enough of a seal by sealing, having the outside cure really quick with the accelerator, that it will work the rest of the air out of there, and that CA glue will set in there, and I won't have it flinging around when I cut further in this way to make a narrower vessel. And those glue splotches will go away. Ba-dum-dum. This is cool stuff, man. I love to turn. This is awesome. Okay, so I'm just a skosh fat right there. Soon, I will fix it soon. So, I'm not sure. I'm hoping that I've got, let's do that. Hoping I got people in chat. Like I said, I had a hiccup with my internet there. And lost not only the music, but I also lost, well, apparently all the chat. Now that is a bummer. That's a bummer. That's alright. Still recording. Still looks like it still might be streaming. I do have a YouTube channel now. And I've been uploading these videos to YouTube after they're done, so they can be seen for longer than the 2 weeks that Twitch allows for on the level of affiliation that I am. I am working towards becoming an affiliate with Twitch, so I can monetize the channel, so that well, you know, I'm doing this to start making a living, and also the monetizing the channel will allow me to buy better equipment, so I have better video, much better audio. I've had lots of troubles with that in the recent past. Still have not been resolved. So if you get a chance and you want to go check out my Ko-fi page or my website, and you just want to support the channel, you know, you can just make a donation on either one. If you'd like to check out the store on my website, support the channel that way, that would be awesome. All the pieces that you see here, well, almost all of them. I think this one I'm going to keep. We'll see. But almost all the. Having said that, that would mean that almost all of the pieces that I turn here on Twitch will wind up in that store. could force this if I wanted to, but I'm just allowing the tool to do the work. I just got to be in the right position so that it can. And it gives me a much nicer surface after I have made the pass. Had to even it back out again. The bow's gonna sing a little bit. Alright, that's fairly even. Double check my depth here. Should be really close to my finished depth. Right on it. So for the new turners out there, I don't recommend doing it this way until you have some bowls under your belt. You can see it wants to flex. I'm not really going to go any thinner, but I think I will go ahead and hit it once with a negative rake scraper and call it done. Let's see if I need to put a new burr on it. Yep, I should. So let's get this set. A little bit higher. Probably be all right there. And I'll take this over to the grinder and I'll put a fresh burr on it. And just for giggles, yeah, how did I lose that now? Oh, there it is. Okay. Sorry, folks. Looks like I'm having further technical difficulties. See, I'm going to have to clean off my tool rest. Put a little wax on it. I'm getting kind of hung up on it somewhere. Let's see. Let's take some of that edge off. Where you at, man? Where you at? There you are. Kind of smooth that out a bit. I'm going to grab a little bit of wax. And by a little bit of wax, I mean a paraffin candle. That paraffin is an excellent lubricant. Let me glide right across that tool rest. I don't recommend using beeswax because beeswax gets sticky. Oh yeah, much better. There we have it. So now we need to sand that surface. 220, there it is. So I'm just using light pressure because again the bowl wants to flex now. Rotational forces in it. And then I am looking for something I should have right here, and I don't. I'll be right back. Gertie. That would be it. And this time I really will put on my mask. Okay. Now then, why is this not working? I don't understand. Apparently I'm having technical difficulties with the equipment, and I'm guessing it has to do with the internet. The internet service that I'm getting today. So now I'm going to reverse the bowl. We're going to take the foot down to its finished form. Oh, look at that. I almost got it right. That X right in the middle. Wasn't even trying. Cool beans, man. Okay, elbow poker, you're up. Yeah, we're doing really good on time. Okay, we gotta get this guy running true. Does not look like it's doing that. Let's try that. I think we gotta go this way a little bit. That's not gonna do it, so we'll go this way a little bit. Nope. Just about there. Ooh, that went too far. I feel like I'm not going the right way here. Okay, so I need to go this way some, and maybe a little bit more. That sticks out too far, so we'll go this way. Alright, now we're getting somewhere. Really close. There. So I'm not worried about this part. It's right here in this OG that I'm trying to get it to run true. I don't care about the tenon. This is going to flex a lot. So I'm almost there. Oh, I think that's it. A little bit more down this way. Oh, too far. Gotta go back. Get really particular about this because I want it to sit properly on whatever surface it's going to be on and not look like it's leaning over. Come on. So I have been known to be very particular about this part. So close. Alright, let's try that. There we go. Alright, so I got to make sure that I can't move the bowl. It's not too much pressure. Might be another problem too, is that I'm turning kind of slow. Well, I guess that's not the right thing to say. I don't really consider it to be a problem, per se. It's just that I wasn't adjusting for it. You can turn slow. You don't have to go at the highest speed your lathe can go, or whatever craziness you might have heard elsewhere. There's no reason you can't turn at a slower speed if that's what you're comfortable with. Just have to adjust. I think this should have a nice concavity to it, about 1/16 of an inch. That works for me. Let's go ahead and give this one a little bit of detail. About the same thickness as the bowl is. Excuse me. All right, let's grab a little bit of this stuff. We're almost to a finished bowl. At least finished as far as it is until it's completely dry. I'm not going to do anything else to this bowl, no embellishments or anything like that. I have to wait for it to change shape into whatever shape. It's going to go oval, I know that. But how oval, I don't know. Come on. There we go. That little nublet off. No indentation from that, so that is excellent news. Really do need to pay attention to that, and more so with green wood, because it will take an impression a lot easier than, say seasoned wood. So let's go ahead and, oh yeah, I got plenty of air. Let's do this. Buzz it off with my auto tool. Auto detailing, I guess. Works great for woodworking. Sawdust out of the groove. Found a new gallery, didn't know it was there. Okay, last thing is the engraver. So for now it sits pretty flat. It will change shape a little bit because it's green wood, but since I have that concave, it won't take much to true up that outer surface to make it go flat again on whatever surface it's resting on. Not that guy, this guy. Too much. Very cool. So I like the curve, the shape of the bowl. If I get it in the camera properly. And it does have some natural edge. A little bit of that natural edge still. This is very close to the outside of the tree. You can see that little bit of bark inclusion. Everywhere the beetles went through the cambium layer. And then see it on the inside. That's very cool. So I'm not sure how I'm going to finish the inside of this one yet. Because I am very much considering keeping it. And if I do, then I might use it as an experiment for linseed oil, I think. Not entirely sure on that one yet. Just want to make sure this is cleaned out as I can get it. While I'm here in the studio. And for all the turners out there, this is a tool that I got from a head shop. I was told this set of tools is for something like dabs. I don't know, some kind of tool to help you put resin into some kind of pipe. Anyway, you can sharpen them a little bit, and I use these for woodworking because it was an inexpensive set, but the steel is good. So check out your local head shop if you're looking for tools like these. You know, they come as a set. It's pretty cool. I think I got the whole set for like 20 bucks, and there was 8 tools in it, and I've only broken out 4 so far. Okay. Sweet. I like it. Okay, so back to Bowl number 1 with the rim. I like the curve on this guy. And one way that we can check that curve, and usually I do this before I get any finish on, and I'm doing whatever sanding I got to do. So I'll take a ruler and I'll put it up on one of the edges and roll that down and see. Let's see if I can show this to you. Need light behind it, but you want to see the little shadow where it touches not really change shape, or yeah, you don't want it to suddenly get fatter shadow. You can feel when there's a flat spot, when it hits a flat spot. So we look at this one. No flat spots. That's a really good curve. So let's see if I can show this to you. I think that might work. Let's turn it this way. There we go. So you can see, if you can see that shadow up underneath, right where that edge is touching. Probably not translating well with this camera, but that's how another way to check your outer curve on your surfaces is with a straight edge. And it will help you find any flat spots that you may have. There aren't any on these. But that is something that, again, it comes with practice. It just does. The better, or the more you work at something, the better you get at it, right? So let's make sure that that's set. That is set. So I am sitting at about 5 minutes left. 7 minutes left. If there's any questions, I'll happily field them. Any questions, comments? Boy, this chat thing is just driving me nuts. Actually, the whole process kind of interesting. Something to do with the internet is just bogging everything down. That OBS trying to broadcast. But anyway, I've got now about 6 minutes. And so, if there's any questions, please throw them out there. I'm happy to answer them. While I'm waiting, I will introduce myself again. My name is Dave. I am a wood turner. I started turning as therapy for PTSD. I'm a disabled veteran. And it has been one of the best therapies I have come across. Being able to come out of a nightmare and come down to the shop and put tool to lumber instead of any other number of things I could have done gave me not only the practice hours that I needed, and there was a lot, but it helped me to get myself into that space where it was a quietness of mind, and the body memory, the muscle memory of all those practice hours, being able to create something on the lathe and do it in a controlled, smooth fashion, so that and I have nothing against sanding per se. To me, it's not turning; you're sanding. And I do use abrasives, but I do my best to keep my tools sharp enough. Sorry, I'm messing with this bowl. I keep my tools sharp enough that most of the time I could start at on a bad day 220 grit. Usually it's 320 that I can start off on because these are the things that I teach. It's because of the way that I approach it. The way that I handle the tool. There's so many bits and pieces to the whole process that you have to work yourself through. It's different for everyone. Everyone has different body mechanics, but you can learn the basics and then adjust those things to yourself as you progress in wood turning. And at the same time, your mind can become quieter because you have more of a focus on what's happening in front of you. And you kind of need to keep, keep that focus, because you have a piece of timber spinning around at 60, 70 miles an hour. And if you are not careful, not attentive, not only can it fly off the lathe, it can cause some damage, not just to personnel, but to things around where it's bouncing. That doesn't mean that all wood is awesome to turn. Sometimes a piece will fly apart on the lathe because it's got a void in it that you weren't expecting, or in some cases I found burls that were just, the whole inside was nothing but a mushy mass of fungus. And hollowing a couple of pieces of those out, get to the last one I got to just about the ending point, and it just came apart. But I've had them fly apart because of that. Earlier in my turning journey, I had pieces come off the lathe because I didn't understand how they needed to be attached to the lathe. I didn't understand how to use the tools, and it's just a process. And those are things that I can help you discover, or a local wood turning club, I'm sure, has some dedicated turners. I call them dedicated as opposed to people who do it on a regular basis. For some, it's a hobby, and there's nothing wrong with that. For some, it's just every once in a while go out and turn. But for me, it's a lot. I turn a lot. And part of it is because it's therapeutic for me, but also because I just love the process and being able to bring some form out of my head into existence, using a piece of lumber that still is moving, breathing. This is alive. And it's alive because it was a living being, but the wood itself still moves and breathes even after it's felled. This would change shape a little bit in a different climate because the wood would have to adjust with humidity and the temperature wherever it's at. And so pieces can moving from one part of the country or another. Sometimes carpenters even find that too, that joints don't fit the same. If you move a box, say you build a box in Louisiana, where it's really humid and hot, and then you take it to a place like Colorado, where it's, at least it used to be, I grew up, I spent a lot of my teenage years, a lot of years in Colorado, where it's cold and dry. And so those joints will shrink and come apart, or sometimes even break. So you have to understand how that works. But part of that is experiential, and it means that you have to get behind the lathe and you've got to practice. But again, for me and for most of the people that I talk to, wood turning is very engaging already. So that is a step in the right direction for most people. But what I try to do is shorten the how do I want to say that? Shorten the process a little bit by helping people not make certain mistakes on the lathe, so that they not only don't get hurt, but they're using their body ergonomics and they can turn much longer, not only longer standing at the lathe, but longer in their life. That's my goal. I want to turn until I can't. And I do everything I can to make it as safe, smooth as possible, and that means practice. That's really what that means. So find somebody, even if it's not me, find someone who is either a well-known turner or a dedicated one. When I say dedicated, I mean one who does it often, knows what they're doing. You can find it at your local wood turning club. Don't just blindly follow YouTube. If you have any questions, there are several well-known turners around that I could suggest, even depending on where you're at in the country. But the point is that I want you to be able to turn for as long as you want to, and as safely as possible. 1 second, I'm going to turn this light off. So having said that, I thank you for joining me on this Wood Turning Wednesday. It was a lot of fun. I got to play with some more cherry. I got 2 more pieces of cherry to turn. They're a little bit thinner because on these, when I go to get rid of the pith, I take a ruler and I center the ruler on the pith, and then I'll rotate that ruler until I have an equidistant from one side to the other, the same amount of distance, and that's where I draw my line, and that's where I separate the tree. That's where I separate the log. I call it a geographical center as opposed to just a normal center, because I'm finding where it is, because not all trees have a pith directly in the center. It doesn't happen all the time. So in order to get the best pieces, that's how I do it. And sometimes I'll wind up with a wider piece, and sometimes I'll look for pieces like that where the pith is way off, because I'll use that wider piece to do a hollow form. It'll be a big, nice, contiguous piece of timber. So there's lots of things to learn along the way. I'm here happy to help you discover them. And I want to again thank you for joining me this Wednesday. I will be back again next Tuesday and Wednesday, 8 o'clock to 11. I hope you enjoy your evening. I hope you stay friendly, and I hope to see you again either on Twitch Tuesday or Woodturning Wednesday right here on this channel. Good night, folks, and thank you.